Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the episode 2 of the Mighty Migz Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, Coach Migz, and you can call me Miguel if you want to. And today's guest is none other than my brother from another mother, which is Ryan Verlinden, fellow martial artist, a very good friend of mine, one of the friendliest, down-to-earth, and most decent guys I've ever met in my whole life. And if you ever meet him, judge him for yourself. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, please press like and subscribe, and along with following and liking this video on Instagram and Facebook, which is both Mighty Migz Coaching. Without further ado, here he is. Okay, he should be here any second. Okay, I hope you're all having a good day so far. Yeah, he's coming here. Kaboom, kaboom. Come on, Ryan, where are you?
Big Migz, how are you, buddy?
Good. Look at this, the Eurasian sensation. I'm liking what I'm seeing, brother.
Mate, just taking from your lead there, your good looks there. So, how are you?
Doing fine. The question is, how are you? Because this podcast episode is about you, brother. Thanks for joining.
Mate, I'm really good. Actually, I'm even better now because I was just reading an article. I was a little delayed because I was reading an article there, and I was talking about the new Asian James Bond. And I see that your name popped up in there, mate, as a possible. So it's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Well, time will tell, brother. If I do, that'll be a great honor. But if not, there's better roles out there for me. The best is yet to come either way, brother.
I reckon they're due for a pure martial artist Bond, and it's got your name written on it, big man.
I appreciate your support after all these years, bro. And I'm not saying that lightly, because the moment I met you back in Castle Hill Anytime Fitness, I think we just clicked like bread and butter, right? Since then.
Oh, absolutely, man. From the get-go. Like mine's, my old souls have been paired in previous lives before, I tell you that much.
Oh, we could have been separated at birth, because if that's the case, I mean, we've got to find out who our real parents are.
Yeah, I know, mate. You've got me questioning everything, mate. My family tree, everything now.
I love it, bro. Love it. Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us. And can you give us a bit of an introduction to yourself? And you don't have to give too much, but give as much as you want.
Well, I can give a little bit of a backdrop. Like yourself, mate, I was started off with martial arts as first and foremost as everything. And that sort of stemmed into athletics, swimming, footy. I had to sort of choose something. And I went with footy because I loved it so much. But the martial arts just gave me that sort of grounding, that base, my sense of everything. It wasn't just about combat. It was all about, your discipline, your respect, all those sorts of things, how you carry yourself, your confidence. All that, mate, really that's when my life really took off. It was about 9, quite a little, I wouldn't say a shy kid, or possibly shy, but I wasn't definitely even to my full potential. And between my sensei and my year 4 teacher, they really took to me, and everything took off from there. So, yeah, played footy here, played footy overseas. Good times.
Yep. I remember you spent a few years in England, am I correct?
Correct, brother. Yeah, spent a few years over in the UK. So freezing cold. I lost my tan, as you can see. Still trying to recover it back. But no, bro. I spent time over there playing professionally. So it was a good experience. So all my life, I've done some sort of sport at quite a competitive level.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's touch base on that UK, spending time in the UK for a few years. I'm actually learning UK dialect at the moment. Maybe actually you can be my UK dialect teacher.
Mate, I know all the Cockney. I knew Cockney before I actually went over there. I say it now, it just annoys people. I say when you go to pick up in the gym a 15-kilo plate, I call it a Bruce Springsteen because it's a 15, or a Sean Penn, which is a 10. Or I say I go out to the jam jar, which is a car. So there's a lot of Cockney stuff that you pick up over, especially in the north of England. A lot of traditionalists there, they do a lot of Cockney stuff over there, or brown bread is dead. There's a lot of that, and that sort of came over here to Australia, but sort of died now. But, mate, I love the Cockney stuff. I'm happy to teach anything.
Oh, for sure. Well, you know what? I'm learning posh, G'day, how are you?
Oh, that's all the down south stuff, mate. You got to get out of that. You're better than that, Migz. What are you doing, brother? Get to the hard stuff up north, where they do the Cockney slang.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I am actually in my next feature short film. I will be playing my own version of James Bond. That's what.
Really? What film's that?
Yeah.
What film?
We're going to be filming it in November, and I got a lady who I know from acting class is going to be playing Moneypenny, and I'll be playing James Bond. That's why I'm learning the UK dialect.
Any martial arts scenes in there?
No, it's more like a cheeky comedy scene, so not yet. It's just going to be like, 5 minutes at most, but it's actually going to be a very funny, cheeky scene. Like, they're kind of flirting with each other, and James Bond being a cheeky boy, and kind of shuts him down as well, like Moneypenny shutting him down, like in a mucking around way, but they've got a bit of sexual tension there as well. I'm not going to give away too much, but anyway.
You're just going to have two seats either side and just be doing the splits the whole time. Is that what the scene is? Is it 5 minutes of you just doing the splits, giving someone crap? Is it? Like Van Damme in Bloodsport.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been able to do the splits for a long time, so it's been a while. So maybe, actually, I can do the abducting ones, the hip abducting ones where you're sitting. It's pretty straight, but the ones where you're standing, you spread your legs just like that as you go down. I haven't been able to do that for for a long time because I haven't practiced. But if I do practice, I should be able to get back to that normal state.
When we first met, I actually didn't meet you I actually saw you for about 3 months before I actually spoke to you. I remember we were in Anytime Fitness at Castles Hill. Man, we were young fellas back then, and you were just up on just like those two sort of step boxes there, just doing your splits, going through your martial arts routine. Like that was your warm up for 10 minutes. And I was like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Like, I don't talk to him. You can't distract him when he's doing it in his zone. I used to go up to you and try and say later, but you're just in the zone, man, like Van Damme from Bloodsport. So, wow, look at this guy. And it wasn't until you're in the bathroom. And they're funny enough. But before that was just 3 months of Migz warming up for, 10 minutes like this, centering there, was in the split stance. Oh, it was beautiful. I was like, this guy's a bit of a dick. But then I was like, I'm starting to love this guy the more he's doing it. I started becoming your biggest fan.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I wouldn't say you're Jackson from Bloodsport because you're much more classier than Jackson from Bloodsport. Let's just say Big Bad Rhino. It's like, hey, Miguel from the Earth, from Down to Control, Earth Control. Do you copy?
I was doing all that sort of stuff to you, everything, and I was doing all that. Just to distract you from that. I thought this guy's a bit of a dick, but in the end, mate, I was just like, I was starting to love this guy. What a legend.
I like your honesty, bro, because you could have just been, hey, Kumite Express leaves in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. But anyway, tell us more about your martial arts background and what led your martial arts background into your current lifestyle, which is similar to an MMA fighter's. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, it started off, I was actually at school and I was little, and everyone gets a little bit bullied at school. Everyone gets, and I just sort of had a bit, just a little enough of that whole sort of bully scene. It was more so how I carried myself, more sort of living to my potential. So I took up, my old man was big on karate, done a whole heap of karate. So I went to an old dojo at Rudy Hill done by Sensei Dina. And it was hard knocks. He was fresh from South Africa. So he dealt with apartheid, all the sort of street fighting tactics. He sort of really morphed into a real dangerous, self-defense. I'd almost say it was almost an attacking form of karate. And he'd obviously been applying it on the streets and surviving over there. And he came out and I went to him and the lessons were just hard, man. Like I remember I was 8 years old and 7 years old, I was doing push-ups on my knuckles. Like it was just insane on like a hard concrete floor, on floorboards. Like everything was just, even we'd just be sitting there going through our basic blocking and on my arms, I'd be dripping sweat. But it was all about the discipline. It wasn't too actually far-fetched from the Karate Kid. And how Mr. Miyagi had him doing the wax on, the wax off routine for ages. Like, what is this? It was like that. And it was Goshin Khan karate I did. And anyway, it just formed so much core strength in me. Like everything physically and mentally took off from there. And I started playing footy, but all those things about discipline and see, I don't drink or smoke or take drugs. And I just put that down to karate. I grew up out west in Mount Druitt. And I was surrounded by all that stuff, but I was just doing karate. That just gave me such inner peace and strength and self-discipline, and not to give in the peer pressure was one of the big things we were taught, especially as kids. That's what the sensei was teaching, and mate, that just stemmed into life now. Like I don't touch any of that stuff. my sensei was always the belief, if you're a martial artist, you got to be a martial artist holistically. So that's spiritually, physically, everything you do through your diet, how you treat others, everything like that. So if you're good at a fighter, like an MMA guy, that doesn't necessarily mean, in my sensei's eyes, that you're a true martial artist. That was the way it sort of operated. And I know, Migz, you probably have the same sort of thing like that, because you look after yourself, you're good to other people, you give a good energy, you know, all that sort of thing. And so that sort of stemmed into athletics and footy. And I started winning a lot of things in athletics, swimming, rugby league, school was going well. And then obviously I chose the path of footy. So yeah.
Awesome. So you pretty much live the karate lifestyle like I do, because I actually written an article to my database. You got to SMS me your actual email address and I'll forward it to you afterwards, no joke, because I actually wrote an article for my database, the karate lifestyle, like Hari Hachabu, which means like, you know, eating 80% full and no more than that in order to avoid diabetes and, you know, heart failure and cholesterol and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'll forward that to you afterwards somehow. And I've written that and I've gotten some of the principles from the karate.
Awesome, bro. So, I look forward to not finding that email and not reading it. I'll give it to you just in case, bro. I've got about 15,000 unread emails in my account at the moment, so I'm horrible with the emails. I reckon you best off to send it to me on Messenger or something like that.
All right, I'll copy and paste it on Messenger then. So yeah,
I'm only staring at it. It's all good, brother. Continue.
Oh, you know what? I appreciate your honesty, even though that was just a joke. And but anyway, that's actually pretty good stuff, because I actually met your sensei, Naidu. What's his name? Sensei what? Naidu, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sensei. Because I met him once in Sensei's martial arts store, you know, and he actually is training Sensei Phil Chapman. I don't know what. Remember Sensei Phil from Sensei's
martial arts ponytail.
Yeah, the guy with the ponytail. He no longer runs their store now. He no longer owns it. But back then, yes, I met him when I actually was starting Muay Thai, and I needed to get some Muay Thai gear and stuff like that. Or even like, you know, I was looking into getting a new karate gear as well. And I met Sensei Naidu there, and he came across as that very formal guy, very nice, but he was just very serious and reserved. But I don't know if that's how he was, but that's just whatchamacallit, that's just the way I was, my impression of him. You know what I mean? So I only met him just for a couple of minutes. Hey, good to meet you, Sensei. You know, so
well, I was just a kid when he was around. He had the ponytail. Steven Seagal was in at the time, and he was sort of doing the whole thing. So he seemed pretty cool to me back in the day, Sensei Phil. But Dina, man, he was an absolute weapon. Obviously, I haven't told many people about the martial arts background, but yeah, mate, just a great staple for life. I really thought it was. So.
Yeah, look, I mean, Sensei Phil actually looked after me. He was very knowledgeable in his styles of martial arts and the history and the practicality of it and stuff like that. I was impressed with his knowledge, and then that's probably the reason why his martial arts store, when he was running it, was somewhat successful, very successful, because people would go to him for gear, like martial arts weaponry.
Nah, brother, it was all the ponytail. The ponytail got him all in. That's why everyone went there to Phil's store. It was the ponytail that got him in. Oh, this guy looks pretty cool. Walks around with his black belt, he's got the ponytail. He must know what he's talking about.
Well, you know what? I mean,
do you watch Seinfeld? Do you watch Seinfeld? You don't?
Yes, I do. Not as much as you guys do, but anyway.
Do you remember the episode where Milos, the tennis player, looks like Roger Federer? He looks the part. He's got the bandana. He sells Jerry the racket, the $300 racket. So Jerry buys it because this guy looks the part. And then Jerry sees him playing tennis and he's just terrible. Do you remember? And so Jerry feels dudded.
Yes, I think I do remember.
Yeah,
yes.
A bit of a Phil thing going on there. So I'm not saying Phil's the main loss of the karate world, but there's a bit of that going on there.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he didn't please everybody, but you know what? He was very good to me. So I'm not going to really say much bad things about Sensei Phil because each to their own, you know. So yeah, but good on you, bro. So that's your foundation of print discipline. Can you give us a rundown? What is your favorite? Of course, you said you got martial arts training in karate. Have there been other styles you've actually learned aside from that as well? Like, you know, that's helped you become a better martial artist and just learn new things?
I think through footy, we did a lot of stuff with jiu-jitsu guys. A lot of stuff through the years, learning how to turn guys on their back, dominate the ruck and stuff like that. So there's always been up until the latter years, obviously, I'm not as playing a high level as I used to, but we used to do a lot of jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and I just sort of gravitated to that. Even as a kid, like just even stuff I learned from WWE as a kid. Like you remember getting the mattress out, wrestling on mum's bed, breaking stuff all the time, getting in trouble, praying when they were out, that could we broke their bed, just praying that, we wouldn't go to flogging when they got home because they broke their bed, all that sort of stuff. But all that sort of thing, man, is how I found wrestling was massive for me. Like I just was huge on the wrestling. So with the striking, karate, obviously there's a lot of boxing as well in footy. But yeah, I think boxing, karate, and the jiu-jitsu were three main ones. So karate, hands down, though, was the best serving one holistically.
Yeah, because I remember you and I were chatting on Messenger, and like that's both of our foundations. In some ways, that is my favorite martial art, and that is your favorite martial art because it's our foundation, and it's taught us respect. And we got the samurai spirit in terms of just respecting ourselves and respecting other people, because you have to respect yourself first before other people will get to respect you. But you don't do that for other people to respect you, though. So if that makes sense. But good on you, and that's probably the reason why you're aging well. I'm not actually saying that lightly, but you look pretty much the same, since I first met you like 10 years ago, bro. So yeah, in Castle Hill Anytime Fitness, So and I got this on, so.
Oh, look at that! You haven't left, mate. You need to grow out of the anytime game, mate. You need to forget the anytime.
It's actually handy for me.
You need to.
It's handy for me because.
You need to progress.
It's handy for me just because if I have a 7 a.m. call time for an acting gig, I can be at the gym at 3 or 4 in the morning, probably earlier. You know what I mean? So that's why it's handy for me. And it's got everything that I need when it comes to weightlifting or just cardio and stuff like that. So yeah, even punching bags here. So each to their own. But I know you've moved on from that. Anytime Fitness, Monica.
Nothing like on video of Anytime Fitness in there. Actually, I've seen they've updated their store, the chains now. They put a nice cans of deodorant at the front of all the Anytimes now, so people can apply a bit of deodorant. But I'm only staring out, big man. Good on you. Anytime's good. It serves you well. But I thought you would have moved on to Fitness First, aka Finance First, by now.
Well, I was, remember, because we had the same manager, Scott Dingwall. I don't know what your thoughts are about Scott Dingwall, but to me, he was the best and most influential manager I've ever had. Like the theories that I have, like the Colonel Sanders theory, not giving up on my dreams. He was the one guy who believed in me. One of very few guys who believed in me back in my Fitness First days. He told me, don't give up your dreams. This is your dream, because if you give up, it's going to be more painful than the struggle. Those are the things that he taught me, and that's why it's never left me, and that's why I appreciate him more than a lot of people actually do seemingly appreciate him. But whether to do or not, that's up to them. That's their business. But Scott Dingwall is probably the most influential manager I've ever had in my whole life.
Absolutely. Ding, as we both know, Dingers absolutely would have been influential, and he would have provided you with good advice, and he has some humor in there as well, which makes you listen to him for a little bit longer. Actually, that's all I want to listen to him for is the jokes. So.
Well, he's a very smooth guy. He's got this charisma.
Relationship advice is what you really want to get into there with old Dingers. Is there? That's where you want. That's where the money is. His humor and his relationship advice. Some good stuff right there.
Well, you know what? A lot of things that he actually taught me, I'm not going to say it in this podcast. It's true, because it's just like, hey, look, all I could say is women don't like nice guys. And I used to think that, so from my upbringing and, going to that infamous church that I used to go to, I used to think it's like, no, you have to be such a nice guy. You have to be like somebody who people can walk all over and stuff like that. But that's not the case. I'm not saying you have to be a jerk or whatever you call it, but just self-respect. You know what I mean? Because like we're at a stage right now where you and I, people are going to respect us in general, and no one's going to try to walk all over us because we have respect for ourselves. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So, but at the same time, okay, so can you give us a rundown of what your weekly routine is? You don't have to give us too much about it, but weekly routine.
Oh, I can't give away all the special details. So in terms of what training?
Yeah, you could just say, hey, look, Monday weights, Tuesday cardio. You don't have to say like specific details, but that's only if you want to do that.
I've got footy training a few days a week. I've got weights now. I've actually narrowed weights down to twice a week now. Just do weights twice a week. Just a full body hit twice a week. I found as you get older, you get a little bit smarter with your training, and also I find when you start lifting a lot heavier and a lot more precise with a lot more mind muscle connection, you actually don't need to. What are you doing in there 6 days a week? Like, I understand some guys like probably the therapy, the mental therapy of it all, but my answer to that is go for a walk. Freshen yourself up, get out of the gym, go for a walk, and if you're training right, I just think 2 to 3 times weights is more than enough. Especially if you're advancing and doing the right stuff, progressive overload, you end up lifting a lot more weight as you get older, and you can't be doing a whole heap of volume work. So my weight sessions are probably 40 minutes. So 40 minutes twice a week, which is it. I love Pilates, big fan of Pilates, and footy training, obviously play. And then also, like I said, I like to do the whole shirt off, underwear, full body oil all over me, put it in, do the splits on that row, do the splits like you. Just remember what Migz was doing back in the day, do the splits and just meditate for a good hour, 2 hours, like just going through my routines and stuff like that. Yeah, so that last bit might have been a bit of a stretch, but yeah, add a bit of salt and pepper to the truth. Nothing wrong with that.
Ground control to Ryan. Do you copy? Hey, it's time to get ready.
Actually, I want to say this about us connecting. I got another mate too. He's from martial arts as well, Eric background. And he sort of has the same mantra of life. It's sort of how he'd started as a kid, and he has the same sort of thing. Look after your body, weights, train. We're into the same things. Fishing. It's just a connection there, like I have with you and stuff. It's just that foundation really secures that connection forever. So it's interesting to have someone who's from that martial arts background. I'm not talking about a thug. So when a kid from that martial arts background that just applied it and, wasn't out to use it to hurt anyone or bully, I just find that just sets you up as on a similar path in life. So there's always that connection there, like you and I have. So we do similar things, both personal trainers, love weights, love all our same movies. We love a joke, all that sort of thing. So it's funny how it all sort of works. This is my other mate, Eric. So it's quite fascinating.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that you and I aren't mutual in is I'm an actor and you're not, but I reckon you should be. But that's
yes, you keep telling me to be an actor. You keep going on to be an actor. But, mate, I'll leave that to you, to more qualified people. You're doing fantastic. I actually saw your latest video there. It was quite scary how emotional that you got there. So please never do that to me.
I know, way. It's just like you're going to say, man, the bloody F up. That's what I can imagine you saying that to me.
No. It's okay, brother. Like I said, just having a bit of a chuckle.
I know you're kidding, but it's just like, it was hard for me to watch that myself. I'm like, what a sook. I'm just like, ugh. But anyway.
How did you get in the zone?
What was that?
How did you get in the zone for that? And what was it like? It would take you another 6 weeks to get out of that zone there, that mental place you got into?
No, not really, because I've got this gift where I could actually just click in and out of character. Like, okay, cut, then I'm just normal. Then all of a sudden, before we say ready and action, I just get into the zone. You know what I mean? But some people like Heath Ledger, obviously, they haven't really yet snapped out of the character before he unfortunately passed away. But I've been blessed enough to have that talent just switch on and off. Just like it's kind of like the theory when I'm actually here in the gym floor. I'm on show. Like, if I'm training a one-on-one client here, like, it's like I'm on stage. Okay, give me a bit of that. Okay, so do 5 more reps. Okay, so just watch the posture. Just like I'm on show. You know what I mean? Like I'm free. You know what I mean? A lot of energy. That's the way I look at it. Just click in and out. You know what I mean? In and out.
You sound like a few of my ex-girlfriends clicking in and out of these moods, mate. Like that. Bang, 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 bang.
Well, I mean, I am a drama queen, for obvious reasons. I mean, being a drama queen is actually my biggest passion. So, it's no surprise that you said that to me there. So, yeah, but it's all good. Now, next question, though. So, who is your biggest inspiration and why?
Oh, single person.
Yeah, or if you just had to name a few, it's up to you.
In martial arts world or overall?
Overall. If you ask me that, I'd be like Bruce Lee.
Thanks. Well, obviously, I'd have to say, the big two would probably be Arnie, Bruce Lee, Sylvester Stallone. I mean, people can laugh at that sort of stuff and say, they're actors. But at the end of the day, like, that's what we grew up with. We didn't really have much internet. We grew up with those videos back then, and that's what we all watched. We hammered it. I mean, how many times have you seen Bloodsport? I mean, how many times? I mean, you could just say like almost 100 times. You know what I mean? You can just quote every line from those movies or Predator, just because that's what we had and that's what we had access to and we played. So that's just on repeat all the time. Almost like a parenting tool for you in a way. Those sort of guys. And Sylvester Stallone was really good. He had a lot of good life lessons and his training philosophies. I find him very inspiring naturally, Stallone. He's always trying to give a message in his movies. Arnie, Arnie sort of, shows with his actions, but Sylvester Stallone always tries to give that moral message in his movies. So I found he was a big influence. So that'd be the three guys. But obviously, I'm a big Elvis fan as well, man. So I love Elvis. So those four guys are massive for me.
And that's your Mount Rushmore. You got Arnie, Bruce Lee, Sylvester Stallone, Elvis, and that's your Mount Rushmore of inspiration.
Oh, yeah. And probably if I had to chuck one more on there, I'd have to say Doug Bollinger.
Okay, who's that? I mean,
my point exactly. He was probably the worst bowler Australia's ever seen in Test cricket. So, but I sort of liked him. He's a bit of an Aussie battler, but I just like to have a bit of a stir with that.
Okay. Well, good on you, bro. Because sometimes your heroes may not be somebody who's on the world stage. You know what I mean? So yeah. Some people who personally, or just somebody who's just semi-famous or not so famous. You know what I mean? So each to their own. But good on you.
Let's pause it for a second. So, Mighty Migz, we found a differentiating thing right here. You don't know about cricket.
No, I've never watched the full game.
Podcast. Get out. Get out.
Well, good to see you. I'll see you next week. Yeah,
we'll talk cricket.
Well, I got to do my research in cricket.
What do you do during the
time? I got to do my research in cricket. Yeah. So I got to do my research in cricket before we talk about cricket. Otherwise, I'm just going to be like, it's like, I have no idea what you're talking.
I'm quite enjoying you getting on your toes there with the cricket stuff. I can see you're out of your element.
No. Well, you know what? Speaking of cricket, rest in peace to the great Warnie himself. So I'm pretty sure that could have affected you as well.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'll be the first to admit I cried when Warnie passed away. Absolutely, I did. I was upset about that. So as would many guys have done that. And whether they admit that's another thing. But hey, I put my hand up. Guilty with the tears with Warnie passing away. And then, you know what? I think because I've always known Warnie. I mean, growing up as a kid, I mean, I've never not known a time where Warnie hasn't been there. I mean, I have the cricket on the radio, summertime. I mean, starting in November through to, March, it's just all cricket for me. It was just, everything was just cricket. So it's on the radio, it's on the TV, you talk about it. If I'm not doing, I'm out in the backyard playing cricket. So that was a massive influence, cricket. So, yeah, rest in peace, Warnie.
Okay, of course. Well, you know what? I hope he's in a better place. But his legacy will.
I'm not too sure he will be in a better place. I'm hoping he is, but yeah, we'll see. It's for the big man.
Anyway, yeah. Exactly. But anyway, so in terms of, let's go back to mixed martial arts. Let's just go back to who is your favorite mixed martial arts fighter, and how has that influenced your lifestyle in general?
Well, I like GSP because I thought he was a great martial artist, a karate guy. Yeah, he was clean, doesn't drink, smoke, do drugs. I loved his training, good to other people, but he was such a nice guy. Like his theory was always the best form of defense is to avoid the fight in itself. So he'd always have a way of, and I still do, I do a little bit of that now, is like, he'd probably, well, let's face it, he'd probably beat everyone on the street if he wanted to. But if someone goes to fight him, he'll have a way of diffusing that, whether that's, buying the guy a drink or giving the guy a compliment. He'll have a way of diffusing, even though it'd be so much easier for him, and he gets so much sort of, I'm not saying pleasure, but I guess accolades for just wiping out a guy. He refuses to do that. So I like GSP's mindset, very strong mentally. And I love that mental toughness of GSP all around. I never gave him the peer pressure, never got caught into the whole mixed martial arts scene, sucked out and spat out the other end. He really kept it together. He's financially stable. I mean, the guy's just a true martial artist through and through. And he teaches too. That's just the other part of it as well. You got to teach people. So and he does that and educates. So GSP all the way, hands down, definitely the best martial artist.
Right. In what ways has he influenced your lifestyle, the MMA lifestyle? Because that's the topic of this thing. So the MMA influenced lifestyle, and none of us, both of us here are not MMA professional fighters for obvious reasons. But you and I have talked before that you and I have MMA lifestyle influences into our own lives in general.
I was always sort of established what I was doing with everything. As a young kid, I just knew what was right or wrong and where I wanted to go. Pretty headstrong like that. people might say it's stubborn. Oh, well, yeah, so be it. But I guess GSP just reinforced all that stuff. You know, the no, like I said, the no drinking, the clean living, confidence, but not being, you know, too cocky. The whole scene of his, the whole way his demeanor, everything like that. So it definitely just reinforced a lot of those morals and ethics.
Sure. And you know what? If you asked me the same question, I would have given the exact same answer. There we go again. I mean, very alike, right? And you know, because the way he just carries himself, like respecting people, you know, because you have to respect yourself first, and just like, you know, treat everybody equally, as treat people the way you want to be treated, you know, stuff like that, and just like the discipline that he has, you know, just that thirst for knowledge and knowing that he's never going to be a perfect fighter. Like you and I are never going to be perfect people either, but we strive to progress in that field, you know what I mean? So aiming for progression, not perfection, you know what I mean? So that's why when you have the lifestyle that you have, like you and I have both as individuals, not drinking, not smoking, no drugs, working out, you know, you're working out like, you know, 2 weightlifting sessions a week. Mostly you're going to do your footy training, but for me, it's just like, you know, 5 days a week, consisting of different types of training. I stick to that myself, you know what I mean? Even if I do have an acting gig where I have to be at the call time venue at 7 a.m., I make sure that I'm going to be doing my workout as well, like probably 3 or 4 in the morning, sometimes later, sometimes earlier, depending on how early I sleep. But it's just amazing, though, that the mindset that we do have is that, you know, we're unstoppable, you know what I mean? Because of that reason, because you and I have been bullied back at school, and that's the reason why we both have karate backgrounds. We need to learn how to respect ourselves, because of course with the stuff that we learned, we could have beaten up the bullies, or maybe to some extent anyway, you know. But the thing is, we chose not to do that because we know how it feels like. So it just gave us confidence. And remember that, you know, your mind is the sharpest tool in your body. So if your mind is sharp, you're going to be very sharp. But if your mind is blunt, hypothetically, you're going to be blunt. So you either have a sharp mind or a blunt mind. But in that case, I respect the fact that you have a very sharp mind and you're very determined and focused, and you know, you're a very encouraging guy as well. And you know, that's a very good attribute to have and trait to have. You know, because in this day and age, not everybody, or not many people can be encouraging or positive in general. So it's good to see that there's people out there like yourself still, and keep on going, bro. You know, don't stop being you. Keep doing you, and always think that, you know, the best is yet to come for yourself.
I think there might be a few people who want me to stop being me, but you're right though. You're a very encouraging guy as well, and I have different ways of showing the encouragement. You know, I'm probably not the guy who comes and you know, throws an arm around you and gives you a cuddle if you're struggling and, you know, training. And I mean, there are times for that absolutely would happen, but I have a way of showing caring in my own sort of maybe peculiar way, or maybe controversial way, but definitely, mate, there's a big care factor from me. And no, mate, like you said, you're a very encouraging guy, and mate, it's very infectious, isn't it, when you're around encouraging people?
No, I appreciate that too, because I'm similar in that context. Of course, there's a time to be compassionate, there's a time to be empathetic, but there's a time to put people in line. You know what I mean? Or sometimes there's a time.
That's my favorite one right there. The last one, putting people in line. I like that one. Putting people in line. I like that one. Come on out. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because sometimes I do that as well, but whether they listen to it or not, that's up to them. You know, because sometimes there's no point talking to a brick wall and just walk away if you have to. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you know, people don't want to. Because like the sad truth is, majority of people can't take criticism. The majority of people don't take accountability for their mistakes and stuff like that. But you know,
ever had a missus, Migz?
Yeah, a few times. I've had a few gets.
Well, then you'll know they'll lead in the charge there with they cannot take criticism at all, not at all.
Yes, I know.
Because
yeah, look, I've had my troubles here with a few ex-misses in the past as well. But you know what?
I'm only stirring up any ladies. I'm sure you're doing a great job out there. So I must just having a little stir up here with Migz. But no, mate, it can be tough when people take criticism, because, you know, I think everyone wants to hear how great they're doing.
Yeah, but you know what? These days, I think you and I are individuals who just like to hear the ugly truth. Because if I'm doing something stupid or doing something wrong, then I don't think we have the intention of doing something stupid or wrong. But the thing is, when we hear it, a lot of times we're like, no, Joe, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? Because we're subconsciously doing the wrong thing. And if it's brought to us in a constructive way, we're going to take it in both arms. Just say, hey, look, that's my bad. I'm just going to try not to do that same mistake next time, or minimize that the amount of times I do it. So that's the main point. You know what I mean? None of us are going to be perfect, including you and I. As encouraging and as sharp our minds are in general, we're never going to be perfect. And but that's the thing. It's a learning.
Speak for yourself, big man.
Well, you know what? I wish I was perfect. You know, so it's just that yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, look, did you have any last and final thoughts that you'd like to encourage anybody? Because, like, at the moment, a lot of people all over the world are actually going to be are actually going through some tough times for obvious reasons. There is a recession, and things are unstable in some ways, not just financially, but the economy and stuff like that. What would you like to give any encouragement to anybody out there or not?
Well, I have an old saying, mate, and my clients have heard this 1,000 times. It's don't get bitter, get better. You know what? It's easier said than done, but you just got to keep pressing forward and find little wins in tough times. We all go through tough times. All of us do. And a lot of us keep it private. Doesn't mean because I'm not out there crying or you're not out there crying and causing scenes that you're not going through some personal battles or some tough times. It just means we have different ways of, showing it. And I think the best thing to do is always just find the little small wins and keep moving forward. Find a little bit of light. If the whole world's crashing down, just find a tiny little bit of light and advance towards that. Just get little wins in things. And a lot of things can come down to your health. You just start training. It can be a great vice for you and a great starting point, getting your health right. You can always have that. You can always get fit. You can always get strong. You can always start looking good. And, very hard for someone to take that away from you.
That's a very good point, brother, because, like, this weekend, Amy and I, like my partner in crime for this podcast, Mighty Migz and Ames podcast, it's the very first episode we're going to talk about learning how to adapt, especially in the past 3 years or so. Like most of us, including you and I, have actually learned how to adapt to certain circumstances in and out of lockdown and, in and out of the office and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that, and I will upload it.
That sounds good.
YouTube. Yeah, and then I'm going to upload it in one of my Instagram pages, actually all my Instagram pages. And it's just one of those things where, like what you said, just do whatever is in your control, and just working out, just to hone your mental health, and hanging out with people, or just stay in touch with people who are going to point you in the right direction, and just knowing that this is just a season. You know what I mean? I don't know how long the season's going to take for some people, but season phase, whatever you call it, it's not going to last forever. So it's not going to be sunny or rainy every day. But if it's sunny, it's not going to be sunny every day. If it's rainy, it's not going to be rainy every day. Good and bad seasons come and go, and you have to just stick to it, and just always remember that through the fire and the hard times, your character is actually being developed. So that's the best way to. That's the way for me to summarize what you're talking about. Am I correct?
Absolutely, brother. And variety makes it interesting, doesn't it? Or else life's boring. You know what I mean? So a bit of variety there, a bit of adversity, a bit of joy, and it makes the good times even better. So absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. Hey, you're looking really good, man. You got a good color to your skin and stuff like that. You must be doing well with your food.
Well, yeah, I drink a lot of water throughout the day, and that's probably the reason why I feel like a camel. So there are times like every half an hour, I was like, oh, I got to take a piece again.
And you've stopped the lunchtime durries.
Lunchtime. I didn't even know I took it. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know I took that. So yeah, thank you for pointing it out. So yeah, but yeah, just like, that's the thing. I'm making one of the things that helps my skin glow is I usually am asleep before midnight, and I try to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But once I have that mindset, okay, time to go to bed, I stop looking at the time so I can fall asleep a lot easier. You know what I mean? Because the moment you set yourself, I'm going to go to bed, and you keep looking at time every 20 minutes or so, it's only going to snowball in your head. You're going to start panicking. Oh crap! I'm not asleep yet, and I've been trying to fall asleep for the past hour or so. It's only going to get worse. But I'm going to talk about that more in one of the future episodes. Maybe I'm going to talk to you more about sleep hygiene and stuff like that, and the next 2 weeks or so. And then let's continue this conversation then. But what do you got plans for the rest of the day? Are you actually working again? Or?
Mate, I was actually going to do a little bit of work online. I was actually going to go for a flick, actually, a little fish. down at the pond there. Apparently there's some bass in there, so I was going to go get a few bass. So got a big weekend actually. Next tomorrow, engagement party, and then on Sunday I'm going to go jigging for some kingfish. Hopefully, weather pending, of course.
Of course, sir. Sounds good, bro. Eventful, and you stay safe as always, bro. You know what? It's very good that we've stayed in touch after all these years, even though it's almost been a decade since I've seen you face to face in Central Station in the city. So we'll talk more about that the next time I catch up.
Thanks, you're doing a great job, buddy. Love your energy. Thank you for having me on your little podcast. I look forward to being on there in any future episodes.
Look, great pleasure, bro. You call me anytime if you need me, bro. So much love, and you stay safe and stay strong as always. You're a good man.
Awesome, bro. Stay off those durries, man. You're doing you well. Right,
exactly, yeah. Anyway, you have a good day, and I'll speak to you soon.
See you, brother.
Okay, adios.